Listen, before you can crush any goal, before you can change your life, you must first win the battle happening inside your own mind. Because the truth is simple. You cannot live a new life with an old mindset. Some people dream big, but they think small. They want success, but they stay surrounded by excuses. They want a breakthrough, but they keep feeding the same doubts that broke them before. Let me tell you something powerful, something most people never realize. Your mindset is your steering wheel. Your goals are the destination. But without the right mindset, you're not going anywhere. You see, greatness doesn't come from being stronger than everyone else. It comes from being stronger than your old self. It comes from refusing to stay who you were yesterday. And right now, at this moment, you have two choices in front of you. You can stay comfortable, or you can grow. You can stay the same, or you can evolve. You can keep waiting for the perfect time, or you can create the moment right here, right now. Because no goal, no dream will ever come true until your mindset becomes more powerful than your fears. You want to crush your goals? Then you must stop saying, "I'll try," and start saying, "I will." Stop telling yourself maybe one day and start saying, "Today is the day." Stop living with doubt and start moving with purpose. Hear me. Once you transform your mindset, your habits change, your discipline grows, your vision sharpens, your energy rises, and the world that once felt impossible begins to open up for you. So if you're ready to transform your mind, if you're ready to break the cycle, if you're ready to finally crush your goals, then stay with me. Because this is the moment your new life begins. When you finally decide to transform your mindset, something strange starts happening inside you. Almost like a quiet storm building in a room no one else can hear. And the truth is, most people spend their whole lives avoiding that moment because it forces them to look in the mirror and confront everything they've been running from. But today, right now, you can choose to stop pretending, stop postponing, and stop believing that you were born to live an average life that repeats itself every day like a broken record, because deep inside you, there is a voice that's been whispering, almost begging, almost shouting. You can be more, but you have ignored it for so long that it has started sounding like a dream instead of a possibility. Yet the reality is, greatness doesn't show up at your door with a bouquet of roses. Greatness demands a new mindset, a new level of hunger, a shift so powerful that the old version of you no longer survives in the same room as your new ambition. And the first step toward crushing your goals is understanding that you will never rise higher than the limits you place inside your own mind. Because the mind is the very battlefield where your victories are won and your failures are born. And until you master it, you will keep losing battles you were strong enough to win, but weren't mentally ready for. People look at success like it's a magic trick, like others have some hidden key that unlocks doors they can even knock on. But the truth is, nobody starts strong. Nobody starts confident. Nobody starts fearless. They become that way by doing the hard things again and again until the world has no choice but to take them seriously. And if you want to transform your mindset, you must first accept that your excuses are lying to you. Your comfort zone is suffocating you, and your fear of failure is tricking you into believing that staying the same is safer than taking a step forward. But every time you avoid discomfort, you teach your brain to settle. You train your mind to accept mediocrity. And slowly you become a version of yourself you don't even recognize. A version that knows it's capable of more but chooses less because less feels easy, yet easy will never take you anywhere meaningful. And deep down you know that maybe you've been hurt, maybe you've failed, maybe people doubted you so loudly that their voices became your inner voice, telling you that you're not good enough, not strong enough, not smart enough to break the cycle. But understand this clearly. Your past is not a prophecy, your pain is not a prison, and your failures are not final unless you decide to stop trying. Because life will test you, life will break you, life will throw storms at you just to see if you're willing to rebuild yourself stronger than before. And the mindset you choose in those moments determines whether you rise or collapse, whether you grow or retreat, whether you become powerful or remain predictable. You want to crush your goals? Then you need to stop letting temporary emotions control permanent decisions. Stop letting fear write your story. Stop letting doubt decide your future, because the world does not reward people who wait. It rewards people who move, who act, who commit, even when they're scared, even when they're unsure, even when they feel like everything is stacked against them. And trust me, Every person you admire, every successful name you know, every legend you look up to was once standing exactly where you're standing now, confused, overwhelmed, uncertain. But they chose to believe in a future they couldn't see yet, and that belief reshaped their entire life. Your mindset is the steering wheel of your destiny, and if you keep turning it back toward old habits, old patterns, old fears, you will keep ending up in the same place, wondering why nothing is changing. But the day you decide to shift that mindset, even slightly, you unlock a version of yourself you didn't know existed. A version with discipline, with focus, with courage, with a fire inside strong enough to burn through every excuse, every obstacle, every limitation standing between you and the life you dream about. Because goals don't get crushed by wishing, they get crushed by a mindset that refuses to quit. So today, challenge yourself, break the mental chains you've carried for years. Remind yourself that transformation is not a moment, it is a commitment, a choice you make every single day to rise, to grow, to push yourself when no one is watching. Because one day, the effort you're giving now will become the success people applaud later. But it all starts with the decision you make today, here, in this moment, to finally take control of your mind and step into the future you were built for. But the second truth you must face today is this: growth will never feel comfortable, and the people who transform their mindset are the ones who stop negotiating with their excuses and start demanding more from their spirit. You see, everyone wants success until they realize it requires breaking old habits that feel safe, familiar, and predictable. But familiar doesn't mean fulfilling, and predictable doesn't mean purposeful. If you keep returning to the same habits that drain your potential, nothing in your life will change, no matter how much you pray for a breakthrough, no matter how many motivational videos you listen to, no matter how many times you promise yourself, tomorrow I'll start. There is no tomorrow. There is only the decision you make right now. And when you finally understand that your mindset is the steering wheel for your entire life, you stop letting fear drive the car. You stop letting doubt hold the map. You stop letting your past dictate your direction. Because the moment you rewrite your mindset, you rewrite your destiny. And let me tell you something powerful. Life isn't waiting to give you permission. Life doesn't tap you on the shoulder and whisper, okay, now it's your time. You must claim your time. You must claim your moment. You must claim your goals. Most people never crush their goals because they treat them like wishes instead of commitments. A wish fades when distractions arrive. A commitment stands tall no matter how heavy the burden gets. A wish depends on motivation. A commitment is carried by discipline. And discipline is the sharpest tool you will ever carve your future with. When you train your mindset to show up even when you don't feel like it, you become unstoppable. When you learn to push through discomfort, even when your body screams for rest, you become uncommon. When you choose progress over pleasure, even when the world distracts you with noise, you become someone worth becoming. But let's go deeper. You cannot crush your goals if you keep surrounding yourself with people who carry weak mindsets. Energy is contagious, and if you're constantly around people who speak fear, doubt, negativity, and limitations, you will eventually absorb that mindset. You will start thinking smaller, dreaming smaller, living smaller. You cannot rise with people who refuse to stand up. You cannot elevate with people committed to staying average. And you cannot transform your mindset while staying loyal to environments that feed your weaknesses. You must protect your mental space like it's the engine of your future, because it is. A strong mindset is not developed accidentally. It is built intentionally, day by day, decision by decision, boundary by boundary. Now understand this: transformation requires sacrifice. You must sacrifice laziness. You must sacrifice procrastination. You must sacrifice being liked by everyone. You must sacrifice the comfort of your old identity, because the version of you that will crush your goals cannot coexist with the version of you that keeps settling for less. One of them has to die for the other to live. And every day you choose which one survives. Are you feeding your growth or feeding your weakness? Are you feeding your dreams or feeding your doubts? Are you feeding your potential or feeding your fear? Your habits answer that question louder than your words ever will. And let me be brutally honest with you, stop expecting success to show up before you put in the work. You don't get results because you want it. You get results because you work for it when no one is watching, when no one is applauding, when no one believes in you yet. You push because you know that discipline now creates freedom later. You grind because you know that delayed gratification is the secret to extraordinary achievement. You stay focused because you realize that every distraction steals a piece of your destiny. And when distractions try to pull you off your path, Whether it's people, entertainment, drama, laziness, you remind yourself why you started. You remind yourself who you're becoming. You remind yourself what's at stake if you stop. But here's the truth most people run away from. Success is not about speed, it's about direction. You can run fast in the wrong direction and still end up nowhere. A transformed mindset gives you clarity. It helps you understand which opportunities matter and which temptations are traps. It helps you recognize that not every door deserves your knock and not every path deserves your footsteps. When your mindset is anchored in discipline, purpose, and self-belief, you stop chasing noise and start chasing progress. You stop begging for approval and start approving yourself. You stop comparing your journey to others and start building your own lane. And when you begin to shift your mindset, small wins begin to pile up. You start waking up earlier. You start taking care of your health. You start focusing longer. You start speaking differently. You start thinking solutions instead of problems. You start expecting better from yourself. And that momentum becomes powerful. A small win becomes confidence. Confidence becomes energy. Energy becomes action. Action becomes consistency. Consistency becomes transformation. And transformation becomes destiny. This is how goals are crushed. Not through magic, not through luck, but through a mindset that refuses to settle. There come a moment in your journey when the noise around you becomes too loud, when doubts begin to whisper in the back of your mind, and when your own fears try to negotiate with your destiny, telling you to lower your standards and settle for something smaller than what you're truly capable of. But this is exactly the moment where transformation happens, where mindset becomes the weapon that shapes your future, and where you decide whether you're going to rise or retreat. Success will never shout your name. It will stand quietly in the distance and wait for you to walk toward it, with discipline, courage, and relentless focus. You must understand that goals don't crush themselves. You crush them with every choice you make, every habit you build, every second you refuse to waste, and every challenge you push through even when your mind says stop. And the truth is, most people quit right before the breakthrough, right before the moment that would have changed their entire life, simply because the path felt uncomfortable. But that discomfort is the very thing molding you into the person you were destined to become. When you decide to transform your mindset, it doesn't happen overnight. It begins with small, almost invisible decisions. Choosing to wake up when you want to sleep, choosing to work when your friends are relaxing, choosing to invest in growth when your old self begs you to stay the same. It's about understanding that discipline will always respect you more than motivation ever could. Motivation is loud, dramatic, emotional, but discipline is calm, consistent, and loyal. It shows up when you don't feel inspired. It shows up when no one is watching. It shows up when you feel tired, stressed, or uncertain. And in those moments, discipline becomes the guardian of your goals. If you want to crush your dreams, then you must master the internal battle long before you experience the external victory. The world cannot give you what your mindset is too weak to hold. As you walk deeper into your purpose, you will lose some people. Not because they are bad, but because they were never meant to walk the entire journey with you. Some will not understand your grind, your sacrifices, your hunger, or your vision. Some will mock your discipline because it reminds them of what they refuse to do. Some will try to pull you back into the life you're trying to escape. And that's okay, because you're not here to please spectators. You're here to fulfill your mission. You're here to design a story that will inspire those who come after you. You're here to become living proof that change is possible, that strength can be built, that dreams can be achieved by those who refuse to surrender. Every time you walk away from doubt, fear, and negativity, you walk closer to the strongest version of yourself. You must learn to protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. What you feed your mind becomes the architect of your future. If you feed it excuses, you will build a life of regrets. If you feed it discipline, you will build a legacy of achievements. If you feed it courage, you will walk into rooms you once thought were too big for you. And if you feed it faith, true, unshakable faith, you will begin to realize that the impossible is only impossible for those who never try. Every champion you admire started as a confused beginner. Every success story you see started with a mindset shift. Every giant step began with one small decision to keep moving forward, even when the outcome was unclear. So take a deep breath and remind yourself that your future is not built by luck or accident. It's built by clarity, by belief, by the decisions you make when no one else believes in you. It's built by the courage to take responsibility for your lie. Faith, instead of blaming circumstances. And it's built by the refusal to settle for mediocrity when your soul knows you were made for greatness. You are capable of far more than you've shown the world, and far more than you've shown yourself. Your story is still being written, and the pen is in your hands, not in the hands of your fears, not in the hands of your past, not in the hands of anyone who ever doubted you. You are the author now. This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when conditions are perfect. Your transformation begins now, with the decision to silence the noise, activate your purpose, sharpen your mind, and step boldly into the future you were created for. And when you fall, because you will, you rise. When you doubt yourself, you realign. When you feel weak, you keep going anyway. Because champions aren't built on easy days. They are built on resilience, grit, and the refusal to give up. And if you can hold on to that mindset long enough, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that can stop you from crushing every goal you've ever dreamed of. If this message spoke to you, then make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon so you never miss our next powerful motivational video.